It's good. Welcome everybody. I hope we are going live. Waiting for it to update on Twitch in front of me.
Right?
Yeah, right. It's
Like, wait for
technology.
it.
Wait for it. Almost there. Just a little further.
Just a little
Uh
bit more.
all right, we are back, guys. Anime Bingeaholics coming at you with another review. And today
I love
we're
how
do
mine says network error. Please try again. Okay, say
Oh
what?
no. Well, let me get some Naruto music to cover
Right?
that fact. There we go. We gotta have some Naruto music because we are covering Naruto today. Yay! That's a
Woo!
little loud. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was love it.
Ah, a little bit.
Love it.
There we go. All right, and if you guys are new to the channel, we are where we look at reviews of anime and give you our thoughts because we've watched a astronomical amount of anime. And you notice that for some reason Twitch has gotten rid of all the previous episodes that we have done. So from now on, I'm just going to record everything and upload it to YouTube. I can't upload it to Twitch. Maybe I can upload it to Twitch so you guys that come to Twitch can see it. But pretty dumb that we can't. That Twitch is not keeping our videos on there as our history and stuff. So I don't know what the deal is. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
But
Twitch is basically like, screw y'all. Ha
yeah,
ha ha ha
yeah,
ha.
pretty much. It's pretty dumb. So I
Yeah.
see we got Kitty Yoda in the chat. We got Pyronally says hi hi.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, what's going on? Uh, yeah, Kitty Yoda, they only keep past broadcasts for so long, so we'll have to create like a library. So which means that we'll have to go back again for the second time and do the first four animes that we did over again. So
Again.
yay!
Woo.
Great, great, great.
Hey, woo. Yeah, I get to talk about Saitama again and
Not
his
that I don't mind
idiocy.
talking about it and
I was
everything
about to
else.
say, you don't mind.
Oh God. That means we'll have to do Toradora. That means we'll have to do Devil's a Part Timer. We'll have to
Yeah, I
do
have no problem doing Toradora or Devil's a Part Timer again, but
mm-hmm, Konosuba.
Saitama and everybody just, I can only handle
It
so
is
much.
what it is. I don't care. We should have Thing Kyrell join us here. I told him to be on. He said he needed 5 minutes, but that was 10 minutes ago. So he's
Sorry, I'm being stabbed by my earrings,
well.
so
That's never a good thing. So,
bear with me for a second.
but
Alright, there we go.
today we are here
That's better.
to talk about one of my favorite animes, Naruto. Um, Not Shippuden. There's two parts of Naruto. They did the when he was a younger kid, and we're going to get into the whole story in each arc, and we're actually going to.
Inconceivable!
It's
Exactly,
inconceivable.
inconceivable.
It didn't. It only goes to a certain amount of arcs, so we're going to rate each arc. There's four arcs that we're going to be covering here. We'll talk about the story. So this is going to be a longer episode than we normally do because we're going to really get in there. But yeah, we'll get the other ones recorded. We'll have to do it again, and we'll just upload it to YouTube. And whatever Twitch does is what Twitch is going to do. And I'm just like, okay, we just need a record of it, so we'll just put it on.
YouTube!
Yeah, we'll just put it on YouTube, which I'll have to take care of. I'll just add it to the 9,000 things that I'm doing on streaming and recording that I'm doing. I'll just do it after each episode and just be done with it. And it's like, okay, upload and then just forget about it. So
Alright.
it is what it is. It's the way it works. So, you know, what can you do? Glad to have you guys here. I hope you guys are enjoying us covering anime. So we're going to cover Naruto. Now, Naruto is a much older anime, 20 plus
It's a
years.
long running anime.
Yeah, so it went from Naruto to Naruto Shippuden to now
Oh, don't
Boruto.
worry. When the YouTube is up and running after this, I will be putting the information into Twitch because that's what I do.
Yep.
So don't
Yep.
worry. It'll be there. It will come up and it'll appear just like the Discord has down there somewhere.
Yeah, we do have a YouTube channel. Do I have? I'd have to.
Somewhere down there.
I'll have to figure it out. So we'll get it squared away. All right, so let's get into it. Naruto, boy, it's a very classic anime. It was one of those early pioneering animes in the sense that in the late 90s, I say 99 onward, in the early 2000s is what I call the shonen era. We'd had Dragon Ball Z and some other things kind of do some things, but it was really the introduction of Naruto and Bleach and One Piece that kind of all started around the same time, give or take a year or so, that they all started competing for one another. And Naruto kind of dominated for a little bit
Hmm.
until it started getting to fillers. We're not here to talk about filler arcs. I
Yeah,
mean,
let's not go down
we're not getting into any of that other bullshit. So no, we're not doing that. But Naruto
that.
itself is a fantastic story, and it's about ninjas. It's about this world.
It's not only about ninjas, but it's also about personal growth. Like, because you
Yes.
have to think about like what Naruto himself went through, being shunned by his entire village. You know, because he embodies this nine-tailed fox that
Well,
tried to destroy the village.
yeah, let's try.
You
So we
know.
got to break down the story succinctly. So there's four
Yeah.
arcs. So
Sorry.
we're gonna yeah, it's okay. So we're gonna talk about the prologue and the Land of Waves. That's the first, I think, 19 episodes. The tuning exams are
Yeah.
episodes 20 through 67. That's the second arc that we're gonna talk about. Then we have in between. It's I kind of consider it part of the tuning exams, but that's the war that goes on there. We'll talk about that. It's kind of the tune exams for me is all one thing. They call it Konoha Crush. I don't. I think it's all part of the tune exams. It's all linked together. The third arc that we're going to talk about is the search for Tsunade, and then the fourth one, which is one of my favorites, is the Sasuke recovery mission or the Sasuke retrieval arc. So those are the arcs that we're going to be kind of covering today.
The
We're going to
shooting
give yeah,
exams.
we're going to cover all those, break it down succinctly, and give you an idea of what we would rate each arc.
The
Overall, it will.
shooting exams are episodes 20 through 67.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
But
I
they
thought
have
you
a.
said the Konoha
Well, there's a little
Konoha
the
before that.
Konoha Crush is the war that happens, but I tie that all into the tuning exams. For me,
Yeah, I can see that.
20
Yeah.
through
Okay.
80 is really all the tuning exams because they're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
interlinked together. The
They're
story,
yeah,
yeah.
they are. So yeah,
And that's just I know why they did that as a smaller arc, but it doesn't work for me that way. I think there's just four arcs. You
no.
cover the four arcs, and then that's it. So
Yeah.
all right. So Naruto. So we start in this story, and they do a pretty good story. The first thing you see is that you see once upon a time in the land of the Leaf Village, where Naruto and them are from. A great calamity happened with the attack of the nine-tailed fox, and they kind of show you just this literally snippet of how the fox was defeated and it was placed into Naruto. Now, there's a hell of a lot of other stuff, but we won't even cover that until we get to Shippuden. But to save the village, the
A
fox was
lot of
placed.
stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Shippuden's going to be its own thing too.
Yeah.
So so you get that introduction, and you're introduced to Naruto. Now, it mainly focuses on Naruto in episode one, right? And in this
Yes.
episode, Naruto is a loner. He doesn't have any family. He's always pulling pranks, like painting the faces of the of the. At this time, there's three Hokage.
Four. Four.
Was there four? Oh yeah, because the fourth one would be up there. But painting
Yeah.
their faces and doing all kinds of stuff like that. And so you kind of see that he's a prankster, and that he's the class clown. They show him in the classroom, and they ask him to do a clone jutsu, and he
He
can't
does
do
his
it.
sexy jitsu.
No, he does that later. That's one thing he does have is
Yeah.
sexy ninjutsu. But he's trying. He's an outcast, you know, and a lot of people shun him, as you mentioned, because of the disaster. He has this beast inside of him.
Yeah,
And
to like bring up that part for those of you, and I really doubt there's very many of you who have not seen Naruto at this point, but for those of you who have not or need a refresher, Naruto was the chosen one, so to speak, and he was the one born at the time that was a sacrifice to be used as the infant child to imprison the nine-tailed fox, and that's why the fourth Hokage is dead, because he
oh
sacrificed
no
himself
no! Don't say that.
yeah, okay, yeah. You're right.
There's a lot of stuff
Anyway.
there. We just want to stick
Yeah.
to what we
Yeah,
know.
let's not, yeah.
Stick with what we know
But-
from the story. But yeah, so there's that. So
But the whole village shuns him because they all know.
a lot of people
They're all
died
like,
because of
"Nee,
that.
nee, nee."
A lot of people died from it, and families lost people because of this catastrophe, right? So
And they all,
it's basically
blame
like
him
it's 13, 12 years later around that
12.
timeline, and so then we meet Naruto. We meet his teacher and Irika Sensei, and you see the first arc, and then he learns this which is going to be a major thing, Kagami no Jitsu. In this world of Naruto, ninjas work for their countries, and they all have their own hidden villages where they work out of. For Naruto, there's the the hidden village of the
Hidden
leaf,
Leaf.
and in the land of fire, right? And so you get all that kind of this slowly progressive, story arc. But in the first one, it's just about Naruto and him. He's trying to pass to become not a chun, a Ganon, lowest level ninja, and through the story arc, he learns a sacred technique called Kagami no Jitsu, which is the shadow cloning jutsu, which allows him to replicate himself and clones in mass amounts. He can do a couple, or he can do mass amounts of these clones. And the way it works is in here, there's a lot of hand to hand fighting and ninja stuff, but they all have certain abilities that is based off the energy. And this is kind of the power system in the fighting system in Naruto. That chakra is the energy source that's within all of us that you can use and tap into, and based off what you can use or you're familiar with, and you have different like earth, fire, wind, water, whatever you're most closely related to, is kind of allows you to develop these certain techniques and abilities, which we'll see as we get to episode 2. But he learns that a lot of stuff happens. But really, the that's the prologue. That's the prologue episode, and then we get into next episodes are basically about the land
I'm
of
so
waves.
scared.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we meet all the different ninjas in there, and we're finally introduced to Naruto. They work in teams with a senior ninja, and they've come. They are we get introduced, and they form this Team 7, with their main ninja guy Kakashi Sensei. So some of you might know him: Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto. So that's Team 7. So you always have the senior and the 3 juniors that go along, and that's kind of like Japanese society.
Kakashi.
Um, and
Sorry.
so they, and they do tasks, and based off the level of the ninjas, they're assigned certain tasks. You've ever heard of us talk about how we rank S, A, B, C, D. Each ninja mission is given a rank system, and then they're getting that. So before they do that, we get the formation of Team 7. So we're introduced to Sasuke. Sasuke is part of the Uchiha clan. His whole family was wiped out. We don't know how they were wiped out. We do know that he has this animus that he wants to kill his brother Itachi, which we'll get into in later arcs.
Actually, they don't actually say who he is until later on after
Mhm.
the first arc.
Well, they just said he wants to kill his brother. We don't know that his
Well,
name is just
I don't know if
Itachi.
I don't remember if they actually said his brother, because I know he just says that certain someone. Like there's
That could
heavy
be.
emphasis on a certain someone.
Well, it's not. It's gonna tie into the third arc
Yeah,
anyway.
like you
So.
you end up eventually knowing that it's his brother, but in the beginning there, it's like certain someone to try and like lure you in with mystery here.
Yeah, so he follows the Uchiha clan, and the Uchiha clan is mainly known for the Sharingan. It's an ability that their eyes can activate and do certain things.
I
So
literally almost just said Shinigami eyes.
yeah, and then of course we're introduced to Sakura. And how the teams formed is Kakashi tests them out with the whole famous bell incident where he has bells tied to him and they have to try to get it. And there's this funny little arc where you see Naruto trying and he gets 1,000 years of pain. I'm not going to tell you what that is. You'll just have to watch it. And and then you see Sasuke shows that he's the dynamics of the team is Sakura is she's totally simping for Sasuke, but
That girl sims hard too.
she's got better control of her chakra, and so she's really good at
Yeah.
genjutsu and controlling her chakra. Naruto is just your brawler, and Sasuke's your intelligent guy that's really good at fighting, but he's really intelligent. And
Yeah,
so
he's more of like your strategist.
yeah, very very strategic. And so you get into this arc. They go through this stuff happens, but then the team forms, and then they go to the land of waves. Now they were just it was a low ranking mission. This is it was a low ranking mission, and so they are to escort this guy to the land of waves to this bridge. I think he's the engineer or the bridge builder,
Master bridge builder.
something along those lines. It's been a long time since I've watched him, so I'm just going based off memory.
I literally just finished watching it today, so it's the Master Bridge Builder.
Yeah, and then they
Well,
immediately
rewatching it because of
learn
kids.
that this mission goes up to a higher tier mission, a much dangerous mission when they are attacked by ninjas, who almost kill Sakura, the bridge builder in Naruto. But Sasuke does his thing, and you see how good Sasuke is here. And then
The village hidden in the mist.
yeah, and then we meet the protagonist, and I can't remember the guy's name. He's one of the
Zabuza.
yeah, one of the famous seven swordsmen from the land of mist or water. I can't remember. I think it's the land of mist. Yeah.
Mist. Because the bridge builder is from the land of waves, and
that makes sense. Yeah.
The Zabuza is from the mist village.
Yeah. So, oh, Thane wants to get in here. Let's see if we can get Thane in here. There he is. Better late than never. He's trying to connect to his audio. Are you there?
I just found bread dough.
You hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
How's it going?
Good. We're right into the first arc. We're talking about the
Zabuza and Kakashi freaking showdown.
Yeah. So, so fight ensues, and so that's really what it is. It's just a battle. They have their first battle. Things happen. Then there's a in between, and then until it leads to this big battle on the bridge where you have Kakashi fighting Zabuza, and then there's who's the other character? What is that character's name? Looks like a girl, but is not. Aru, thank you. Like I said, it's been a while since I watched it, but
or no, Haku.
Haku. That's right.
That's what it is. Haku.
So you have this, and you get into all these different fights. Now, the first arc, what it does is it introduces the characters, puts them into the world. It gives you an introduction of how the power system works. It gives you an idea of how this is going to play out and what's going to be the basic blocks and building blocks of what this series is going to be. And I would say for the most part, it does a really good job. It does a great job of the four main characters. It introduces other characters that we see throughout the village that will play in the next arc. So we get that. We see the team working together for the first time. We see the world of the ninja. We see what their life is like. And we see, this arc play out. Now, Thane, I know you're a big Naruto tard like I am. First arc, what are some of the things that you remember that stood out to you? That, what was the first time when you watched Naruto and you were, whether the manga or the anime that you watched, you remember that hooked you to this stuff?
It was actually the younger people's reaction to their first high level ninja, which is kind of our introduction to a high level ninja too. Because at a certain point, like Naruto and Sakura and Sasuke are still kids, inside and out. It was kind of the first time where they, Sasuke contemplated suicide at one point, because he couldn't handle the pressure. Kakashi kind of had to talk him down, and then Naruto kind of realized oh my god, this was his come to Jesus moment. I was going if I am to become a ninja, this is the level I have to achieve.
Yeah,
it all kind of came together in that one introductory fight.
Yeah,
with Zabuza.
Yeah, it was really incredible, and you see that Sasuke and the rivalry between Sasuke and Naruto has started immediately. And then you have the love triangle where Naruto loves Sakura loves Sasuke.
It immediately started when he accidentally kissed Sasuke.
Yeah. So the rivalry's there. You see them developing their skills slowly but surely. The big reveal in this arc is that we get to see what happens when Naruto loses control and the Nine Tails chakra comes out. He becomes a mini version of the Nine Tails and just lays scunion on Haku. But it was a very touching. I think for what it was supposed to do, the opening arc is good. I don't think it's the best arc, but I think for what it was supposed to do, it does a really good job. It really hooked me into the world of Naruto. I mean, it introduced the characters really well. How the power system's going to work. The motivations of the characters. You get to see them use their abilities and start developing their abilities. Overall, if I was to rate this arc, we're gonna get everybody to give their opinion on this. Out of 10, I think the opening arc, it was solid. I give it a 7.5 to 8. It's right around there for me. The opening first episodes. It's good enough that it's good. That's still a good score. It's good enough to hook me, and it got me thinking. Okay, what else can this anime do? I saw the potential. Lady Pool had to take a momentary reprieve. If you were to rate this beginning arc thing, what would you give it?
I give it a solid 8.5.
You liked it a little bit more than I did. Okay. All right. And now we've got Lady Pool back. We've given our scores. Lady Pool, if you had to give the opening arc a score out of 10, what would you give it?
Considering I didn't really like get hooked onto it until Naruto lost his shit, I'd probably give it about a 6.
6. Okay, much lower than we did. Okay.
Yeah.
So that averages about around a 7.5 overall.
Yeah, because
so
it really took a lot for me to get into Naruto in general, but it eventually got there. Eventually.
Yeah. All right, so that's the first arc. Now the next arc in the Naruto is the Chunin exams. Now this is 20 through 80 in my opinion, right? The 68 through 80 where they say it's another little mini arc, it's not. It's all the Chunin exams. So when they get back to the village, they've done their first mission. The Chunin exams is the next level of ninja you can become, and there's an exams to do that, and Team 7 participates in it. So the first part of it is we're get to introduces some other characters. I'm trying to think. Was it Kabuto, the medical ninja that they meet there? We don't know that's him, but he's the henchman for Orochimaru.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's kind of playing the thing where he's trying to help them. But we get introduced to that. We also get introduced to all the other teams, not just from the Elite Village, but we also see that there's other lands and other ninja villages that have sent their ninjas there to participate in the Chunin exams. Now, the Chunin exams overall, I'm going to tell you right now, I love the Chunin exams, and I'm going to tell you why later on here and give my score. But the first thing that you learn is that they have to take a written test, and you see all the different abilities that they're all using that they're capable of doing, and they're cheating. And the point of the test is you can cheat, you just can't get caught cheating. Right, so it's one of those skills that they're looking at. So you have that part of it. Then you get to the Forest of Death scene. We're also introduced to a character by the name of Gaara. He becomes a big. He's a big.
I love Gaara.
Gaara of the Sand and his siblings Tamari and I don't remember the puppet guy's name. Thane, if you know, pump in. You're supposed to be the Naruto tart here.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Kakuro. There,
that one. I can't remember either. I was about to look them up. Like,
there's so many names. Some I remember very well. Some I'm just like, wait, what was it? I said it's been a while since I've watched Naruto. And then we get a whole bunch of shit that happens. There's 2 parts of the Forest of Death. The first part is they're all in teams and they have these scrolls, and you have to defeat the other teams or steal their scrolls. And you have to steal, I think, what was it, 3 in total to get to the next part.
No, just 1.
Was it just 1? Because you have 2, right?
It's just an opposite scroll because there's 2 scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
There's an earth and a heaven, and you have to get the opposite one. So you have earth, you have to get a heaven. If it's a heaven, you got to get an earth.
Okay.
The problem is you don't know what
Who
the other
has
team
what?
might have.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff happens in the first part of the Forest of Death. One, we get to see how the teams interact. One of the main things we see Gaara is he has love tattooed on above his eye, and he is a psychopath. He just loves killing, and that's what he does.
He's my favorite.
He's pretty good. And then we also see we have the Sound Ninja that attacks Sasuke and his group. But before then, they run into a ninja in the forest, and the reason that the Sound Ninja playing a big thing is that they're working for the main protagonist of this arc, which is Orochimaru. Orochimaru is a former ninja of the Leaf that has a hidden agenda to destroy the Leaf, and we'll get to that at later in the arc. So a fight breaks out between Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke. They fight. Of course, there's no match for Orochimaru, who shuts down Naruto easily and fights Sasuke, but really he's testing him. And then that's where Sasuke gets the curse mark. Orochimaru leaves a curse mark on him where he bites him, and that'll come later on when we get to the Sasuke retrieval arc. So he's got this mark on him now. So they're pretty wounded. Then these sound ninja that we don't know at the time are actually working for Orochimaru show up and attack Sakura. We get introduced to some other characters like Rock Lee and some of the other characters from the other teams that come in to help Sakura. And then Sasuke loses his shit. And we see the curse mark take full effect and take over his body. And he terrorizes those ninja and beats the living snot out of them. So we start seeing these dynamics playing out. So that's really the main points. Did I miss anything in the first part of the Force of Death? Those are the main points of contention that I can remember.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's character introductions, and you see some of the powers at play, right? Rock Lee being one of them. You see Nenji, you see Ten, you see all these characters that are introduced. Which leads us all to the second part of the Forest of Death, which is the actual first. It's our first tournament arc in Naruto. The only one that I can actually think of, I can't think of another tournament arc that ever happened in Naruto after this. Can you think?
No,
I mean, there was
yeah.
There was other Chunin exams, but that's much later. But it was really just the battles in the arena, right? But this is that first initial battle, so they all get paired up to fight one another. Sasuke faces his opponent, wins. Naruto faces his opponent and wins with a fart of all things. Sakura loses. We get introduced to Nenji and who's the girl
Hinata.
Hinata. So all those fights take place. So they have to fight. The winner advances. The loser is out. Right? You're not going to win. The fight of fights in this one, and all the fights were really, really good. But the fight that was hands down and one of the best fights that I can ever remember in anime was Gaara versus Rock Lee. And this fight was goddamn incredible. And this is the philosophical debate and showing of natural talent versus hard work. Rock Lee cannot use chakra. He is straight up a hand in. He is all about hand-to-hand combat. He is not about. He doesn't have any special abilities. Gaara, on the other hand, is the opposite. He controls sand. It moves at his will. It creates a barrier for him. He can do all kinds of stuff with it. Rock Lee does not have any of that. So and you just saw how ruthless Gaara is because we just saw in the earlier Force of the Death him just killing people with his hand and just crushing them underneath sand and stuff. So we know how ruthless he is. And you think, what the hell chance does Rock Lee have? In the beginning of the fight, you're like, well...
There goes Rock Lee.
Yeah. Rock Lee doesn't really... He's kind of getting poked around. And then his teacher, who's one of the funniest guys ever, Guy Sensei, tells him to take off the training weights. And that's what we see. We see Rock Lee take off his training weights and go faster than sound as he is just attacking Gaara, and Gaara's sand can't keep up. Eventually he does, and then he opens up, what he can do is he can open up his ability with his chakra to get extra energy, and he opens up these gates inside of him that it releases a certain amount of energy that he can use, which pumps him up more. It's still not enough. Gaara, even though he starts beating the shit out of Gaara loses his shit and basically defeats Rock Lee, but in the process was going to kill him. It was a great scene where he actually destroys his right arm and right leg, I believe, where he crushes and breaks all the bones in the body. And then just before he's about to kill him, the instructors pop in and stop Gaara from the last second from killing him. Right, Guy Sensei just comes in and whoo, and that tells you how powerful these upper level ninja are. Because I mean, Guy Sensei just jumped in and was like, "Okay, that's enough." And you know, Gaara, who's pretty powerful, is like he's no match for Guy Sensei. But that fight, I mean, if you've never seen it, you should just watch that fight and that fight alone on YouTube. It is unbelievable, the choreography, the fighting dynamic. It's just so good. It is an unbelievably emotional and just impactful fight.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean,
and my favorite part definitely has to be him taking the freaking binders off.
Yeah.
Like all the weights off.
He sits down, he's like, yay. And then what's great about it is he takes these two things that are on his legs and he just takes them off. Like, okay, what is that? And he drops them and makes a giant
crater. Yeah, they make craters
ground.
And everybody's like, oh.
And then he just starts,
that's my favorite watches, everybody's like, oh.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just such a good arc. Anything on the arc or fights up to that point, Lady Pool, that you remember? I mean, I remember the Naruto one because he won by farting.
Yeah, by farting. Honestly, no, you covered all the ones that I would have covered.
Yeah, anything on the first part of the shooting exam thing, or any fights or anything that stood out to you? I mean, we had Tamari kick the shot at 10-10. We had the puppet guy. We had all the we saw who we were going to be, who the winner and the losers were, right, to go to the next round.
Yeah.
That for me was the Hinata and Neji fight.
That was pretty good too. That was a great fight.
Yeah,
too.
Hinata and Neji. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't talk. I think I've had too much coffee.
Who else? We had the Sun guys try to fight the what's his name?
We had
guy.
the showcasing, the beautiful showcasing of Shikamaru.
Yes, the lazy intelligent ninja. I mean, this guy has got an IQ and that's off the chain, but he's one of the most laziest ninja you've ever seen. He's all about shortcuts and stuff, and yeah, he is unbelievable. So we just see all these different characters and different personalities and abilities that are on display, and that gets through the force of death for the tune exam. So that covers that. Then we get into the war part of it. So their next thing for the tune exams is they had to fight in the main arena. And what you have happen is Kakashi takes Sasuke, because Kakashi is known as the copy ninja. He has a Sharingan in his eye. You don't know how he got it. We just know that he has one. And he takes Sasuke off to train him, because now that Sasuke's developed his Sharingan powers, he's going to train him on how to use a certain technique. Naruto, we get introduced to one of my favorite characters ever, Erosenin, the perv sage. Runs into him. The pervy sage. We get introduced to Erosenin, and he goes and teaches Naruto some stuff. When Sakura lost, so she's just as a bystander. Now for this next part of the Chunin exam, the village of the sand, their Kazakage has been invited, and he comes there to watch because he's got Tamari and all them and Gaara. They're going to be facing each other. So first fight I think we see Tamari versus Shikamaru, and so after all the training and all these introductions done, you see Naruto go off in there and send in, and they have their little adventure and stuff, and he shows them a couple things and how to do the summoning jutsu, where Naruto learns how to summon Gamabuta, the big frog. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And so they go to the Chunin exams. The first fight is, I think it's Tamari versus Shikamaru, and you see for the first time how ridiculously funny and just a high level of thinker Shikamaru is, and he defeats her, and he doesn't defeat her through power. He defeats her by his abilities.
He technically doesn't defeat her. He gives up.
No, he makes her give up. Right? He goes and puts his hands up, puts her hand up, and say, "I give up." You know. So, but then the next battle is Neji versus Naruto. Now this was a hell of a good fight too. Now, Neji has a Bakuga, where his eyes can see chakra and stuff. He also has the ability to hit people in hand-to-hand and to break their chakra points so that they can't use chakra. He has a 360-degree defense. It's a hell of a fight. Him and Naruto fight. One of the highlights of there is when Naruto loses all his initial chakra, then all of a sudden you see the red tail, the tailed fox chakra come out, the nine tails, and he gets another boost and keeps fighting Neji, and he defeats him by kind of tricking him with a shadow clone and knocking him out. And so everyone thought Neji was going to win because he was supposed to be like this genius level ninja. Naruto, where you first start seeing him starting to win over people in the Leaf, with him winning that, and then the fight ends with Sasuke versus Gaara. Now, on the background of this stuff, as you get ready to see Sasuke versus Gaara, start seeing that the people that Ochimaru has made a pact with the Sand Village, and they are going to attack the Leaf Village. Their main thing is that, just like Naruto, and we learn this, Gara has one of the Chibi inside of him. He's got the one tail inside of him, the Desert Raccoon, as Naruto has the nine tail, fox. And so nobody knows that, but their plan is, in the middle of the Chunin exam, they're going to release this in the middle of the Leaf Village, and then they're going to attack on the outside, and Ochimaru is going to be doing his thing, which we'll get to. So we get to the fight. It begins. Gar starts fighting Sasuke. Sasuke actually causes him to bleed, and then in the middle of their fight, I don't remember the exact set off, but someone casts a genjutsu and knocks out a lot of the folks in the arena in the town. Then they summon this giant three-headed snake, the Sand Village does, to start attacking the outside of the wall. When that happens, you learn that the Kazekage takes the third Hokage, puts him in a knife point, pulls him up. Then you see these four ninjas you've never seen before create this barrier, and then he rips his what is a mask off, and you see that it's actually Ochimaru versus the third Hokage. So, and you think that would just be like, so you've got the Sand Village attacking, you have the Leaf reacting to that. Gar's running off with Tamari and I think it was just Tamari. What did the puppet guy go with him? Yeah, I think he did.
He did, but he got stopped by to fight Shino.
Mm-hmm. So he had to fight Shino. Shikamaru, Sakura, and Sasuke go after Gar initially, right? So you have three different fights happening at once. The first one is just the village versus the Sand Village. The second fight is, and Naruto gets involved with this too. So you have Naruto, Shikamaru, Sakura. They go after Gaara, right? And it eventually ends up to where Sasuke's fighting Gaara. Gaara kicks his ass, and then Naruto comes in. We'll get to that in a second. Now the third fight is the fight. There's two main epic fights. You have Gaara versus Naruto, and then you've got the third Hokage versus Ochimaru. And this gets us an introduction of just how powerful these people can become. Now, in the initial fight, you see them doing all these different ninjutsu, but they're kind of just playing with each other. See the third Hokage rips off his stuff. He's got his badass ninja outfit on. Ochimaru pulls his shit off. He's got his outfit on. And they start going at it. But what Ochimaru did is he used a special summoning ninjutsu where he can summon the dead. He summons the first Hokage. He summons the second one. The third stops for bringing up the fourth Hokage. And you can see it on the coffin. And so, what is the ability? Arrow Tenzin? The ability,
Edo Tensei.
Edo Tenzin. I couldn't remember what it was. So he uses that ability, and he's able to control now. He's summoned these two zombies who's able to control the first and the second. So it's Ochimaru versus the first and second versus the third Hokage. And they have this Hokage battle under this barrier on top of this giant castle building. And you see them using all these different abilities and big fights. And it ends up being, so to wrap that one up, you have the third Hokage basically does another ritual where he summons the god of death. He gets rid of the first, the second, and then he can't quite kill Ochimaru. So what he does, he takes away his ability to use ninjutsu and cuts off his arms and takes him with him to the afterlife. He sacrifices himself. The other fight that happens is you have Naruto coming in. Sasuke's been fighting Gaara, right? Naruto finally gets there. Sasuke can't move. He's used the curse seal. His body is destroyed. Gaara's just basically just kicking his ass. He's about to kill Sakura. Naruto goes bananas. It's that I'll save my friends jutsu. And Naruto comes in there and just kicks that ass. It is so funny to watch Naruto. Does the 1,000 years of pain on him, and then he summons like 1,000 of his clones and does that multiple attack on Gaara, and they're all just looking like, what? Where the hell did that come from? I've never seen Naruto be able to do this. And then finally, after that happens, Gaara loses it. The Chubi takes form, And so Naruto, not knowing what to do because he gets caught by a guard saying he's about to be killed, summons Gamabunta. And so you have this incredible battle between Gamabunta, the raccoon, and them just going at it. It is an unbelievable fight where even Sasuke's going like, "What in the hell kind of battle is this?" So that gets through. Eventually, Naruto wins, and he talks no Jutsu Gaara into realizing the error of his ways because they're both the same. They both have chubis inside, or they both have. They're called chubis, right? Cubis?
No, Jubi, I think, is
The name of the nine tail. But what do they call the tail beasts themselves? They have a name.
Biju.
Biju. I couldn't think about it. Yeah, there's a lot of terms and references here. I can't remember all of them. But just an incredible ending to that. So that's the entire Chunin exam. That covers the basics of everything that happens in there. There's a lot more. There's little things here and there, but that's the main gist of it. Let's rank it. Let's talk about this. I thought this is one of my favorite arcs. It's up there. If I was to give this a score, I'd give this an 8.5 to 9. I think it's a fantastic arc. Just the fights were incredible. The entire storyline was incredible. The introduction of all the new characters were incredible. This really hooked me on Naruto. I remember when this was coming out weekly, I would download it and just, you'd be left on these cliffhangers like, Jesus Christ, what's going to happen next? Right? I could not wait for the next episode of this because it was so well done. So that's my score. Lady Pool, what would you give it?
I'd actually have to agree with you because this is one of my favorite arcs too. Sorry, my daughter brought me a knife.
Run thing!
Yeah, no, what was sad is she came in here holding it like this and an evil smile on her face. Like, she reminded me of freaking Michael Myers for a second. I was like, okay, thank you. Okay.
All right. So,
but she wanted some of our homemade bread. That's why she was like, I'm like, thank you. You didn't need to bring me the big knife, but okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right, Thane, what would you give this? Your overall thoughts, too.
So I have to give it 2 scores. For the first half, I would give it an 8. Second half, I'd give it 8.5.
Okay, so you're on an 8.5.
Okay, yeah, now that I agree with too. I do.
Yeah, for me, it's just a solid 8.5 to 9. It was just a really fantastic art. It introduced so many characters, the upscaling of the powers, and you saw it's when I remember when those ninjas like, oh my god, this is what a Hokage fight looks like.
Right?
It's one of those things. So yeah, it's a fantastic arc, and really, it hooked me in. Now, the next arc that we're going to get into is the Tsunade arc, and this introduces the legendary Seinen. You learned about Tsunade, Orochimaru, who's one of them. We also learned that Eren Seinen is one of them. The Hidden Leaf needs a new Hokage. The recommendation, and Jiraiya is the name. I call him Eren Seinen just because I like pervy ninja sage. But Jiraiya is going to go on this journey to find Tsunade, who is the granddaughter of the first Hokage. He's going to make the offer for her to become the 5th Hokage, right? And this is what this all entails. Now, the first part of it, though, we get introduced to the Akatsuki. And we get introduced to one of my favorite characters and his homie that goes along with him, Itachi. Thane, the introduction of Itachi is pretty goddamn baller.
It is. And the biggest thing is that, keep in mind, the last episode that we saw was Orochimaru versus the 3rd Hokage.
Right.
And we're told, up to that point, Orochimaru is like this god status shinobi. Like, we've never seen anybody do anything that comes close to what he does. And then immediately afterwards, Orochimaru saying, Itachi's stronger than me. And we get introduced to the Akatsuki, which we're like, what? There's like a whole group of Orochimarus out there?
Yeah, more powerful than Orochimaru. I mean, because Itachi, he goes in the village and they're looking for Naruto. And they go in there, and on their way out, they get confronted by Kakashi, and I remember the names of the other two. And I mean, Itachi you see how powerful the Sharingan is. I mean, he toys with him. I mean, the one lady tried to use Genjutsu on him, and he was just like, Bitch, please.
No.
No, I don't think so. And then you also see that the other guy has no chance. And then
See,
Kakshi,
Itachi is one of my favorite characters because of that.
he is such a badass here. He doesn't even move one muscle. He doesn't even move a
Mm.
muscle against.
These are for Daddy too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Daddy gets some bread too. But you realize how dire the situation is when you hear Kakashi tell them to shut their eyes and not look, and it just Kakashi, who's got the Sharingan, he only has one, but you see the power of the Sharingan because you see Itachi perform his Genjutsu, and I can't remember the name of it, but basically takes him to
Kuyomi?
Yukiyomi, is that the one it was? There's so many.
Tsukuyomi, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many goddamn abilities the Sharingan can use, from Mamoratsu to all kinds of shit. It's
I haven't
ridiculous.
tried memorizing them, so I'm glad he's here.
It is
'cause I-
unbelievable the amount of shit that the Sharingan can do. I mean,
Like, I would literally need to pull up a whole list just to remember these things.
I always ask, what can the Sharingan not do?
Not
I mean,
do.
this goddamn thing can
Yeah.
do all kinds of stuff.
Seriously, right?
I mean, there's Tsukuyomi, it's just dumb, man. I mean, just the abilities that this thing can do. But it's specific to each person, and each one develops a different kind of ability with the Sharingan, right? And we'll get into more of the Sharingan much later on. Not so much in this arc, but more in or the next one, but more into when we get into Shippuden, we really start seeing the incredible power that the Sharingan has. But he just takes him to this world of Tsukuyomi, and basically, in what is it, .000000000000000.
Oh, yeah, the other dimension, yeah.
The other dimension, he was only there for that .00000. It's like a not even a tenth, a millionth
Like
of
a millionth of a second.
a millionth of a second, but it felt like he was there for 100 years, and it sent Kakashi to the hospital for a month. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now they get saved because who's his partner with him? The shark guy. Kisame. Yeah, one of the other seven swordsmen. He's with them, but he really doesn't do much because he just letting Itachi kick the shit out of these guys. But Guy Sensei shows up. Now Guy Sensei is Kakashi's rival and knows how to fight the Sharingan, and so they're not really here to fight the entire Leaf Village. So they kind of recognize the situation. So Itachi. And then they pull back, right? And then they go off. Then we're told that this is where we see Jiraiya is going to take Naruto with him to guard him, basically, because Jiraiya is one of the legendary Sannin. And then you see, unbeknownst to them, Sasuke follows. We have the next big fight before we get to actually to where Tsunade is. At this hotel, Itachi and Kisame show up. They're going to get Naruto. Just then, Sasuke appears, sees his brother. We learn that he's the one that wiped out his entire clan. Gets fucked up by Itachi. Itachi just toys with him and then he looks at him and is like, "Why are you so weak?"
Right.
Get
But
stronger.
never mind, I can't say that. We're not there yet, so therefore I cannot say it yet.
Yeah. So then Jiraiya shows up and starts doing Jiraiya things. Somehow teleports him to the inside of a frog's stomach. So you start seeing how ridiculous Jiraiya is. But it's not enough to hold those two. They escape. We get introduced to Amaterasu, another ability of the Sharingan that breaks them out of there, and they back away. Right? We don't get any more for those characters for a long time. Actually, we don't really see anything with the. I don't think we get anything else with the Akatsuki through the rest of the arcs, even the filler. We don't get anything to the Naruto Shippuden, right?
I don't think so.
That was the introduction of the Akatsuki, of Itachi, Kisama. We could see Jiraiya in his early, what he can do. Pretty badass. So you see the power of the legendary Seinen.
Be gone, my heathens.
I know Daddy be home.
When Daddy gets home.
Alright. I'm going to mute myself for a minute.
Let the beatings commence. The children must suffer. What am I missing on that's the beginning stuff that we see in the first part of this arc, right?
A little fun fact is that Jiraiya is the only ninja who looks Itachi in the eye.
That's true. That is true. Because, being the Genjutsu, I mean, Itachi is a genjutsu master, and you see it later on in the arcs and stuff. So, yes, that happens. Then they go and they go look for Tsunade. They find Tsunade. We learn they do some stuff with Tsunade before they meet her. That she's the worst gambler on the face of the planet. God, I mean the gamblers, and the reason that she can gamble so much and gambles all the time is who's going to go after her to collect their money. So she borrows money all the time, loses it, and then gets more money. It's some funniest shit I've ever seen. And then like no one's going to go after Tsunade, and you learn why. So eventually, they meet up.
Got some ranger luck on those poles.
Better than me, man. So we finally get an introduction of Tsunade. She's this great medical ninja who we learn. Boy, she is a powerhouse of powerhouse. We also learn her. We also learn some cool stuff about her background. We also learn about her.
Are we on the part about Tsunade?
Yeah, we're on Tsunade where they first introduced Tsunade. And we'll learn her background through this. Is she's lost two main important people in her life: her boyfriend who dies, and her little brother that was killed in a raid in the ninja village. She also is a hemoglobin. What is the? She's got a the blood phobia. I don't know what it's called. Hemophobia. Or something like that, where she sees if she sees the sight of blood, it basically renders her useless, right? I mean, she's pretty insanely powerful, but
yeah, she has PTSD due to it.
Yeah, but it's hemophobic. She's a hemophiliac or whatever it is. She can't see blood without, freezing, right? She because of the past memory of her boyfriend and her little brother. Heavy on the alcoholic. She also, for her age, looks extremely young because she keeps herself that way because she can control her cellular level to look the way she does.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Right? Shit.
And so when they meet Tsunade, she starts talking shit about the third Hokage. Naruto ain't gonna hear anything about it. Challengers, they go outside, and during this time, Naruto's been trying to learn a legendary ability that Jiraiya had shown him called the Rasengan. And it's basically where you take chakra in your hand and you mold it, and then when you use it, it's like a little tornado in your hand, and it'll basically just terrorize someone and tear them up, and send them flying. So it's a high rank ninja technique. So he's working on that. So in this initial fight, Tsunade just puts up one finger. He's like, I'm just going to defeat you with one finger. Naruto comes at her, tries to use the Rasengan, but it's not incomplete. And then she just flicks him and stuff, and they make a deal. If he can master it in 3 days, she will become the third Hokage, right? And she will give him the necklace that's on her chest. And if she doesn't, I can't remember what Naruto had to do or something. He has to give up his quest to become the next Hokage, right?
Yeah.
So this happens. Unbeknownst to them is that Orochimaru, who is at this point totally fucked up because of what the third Hokage did by removing his ability to use his arms. His arms are basically like zombie arms. The skin's peeling, blood's coming out of them. Yeah, it's horrifying. He just walk around like this. He can't use his arms. So he's got his boy with him, Kabuto, who's the medical ninja we saw earlier. Makes a deal with Tsunade. He tells her that if he fixes her arms, because she's the number one medical ninja in the world, and Lady pulled that knife on your lip is, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're gonna scare the folks out there.
Sorry, I zoned out. My bad.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. If she will fix his arms, he will bring back with Edo Tensei her love of her life, or her little brother. And she's contemplating that. Comes to the 3 days. Orochimaru wants an answer. She tells him to go to hell. She attacks him, but she's really attacking Kabuto, who's a medical ninja as well. Fight breaks out. Jiraiya gets involved, but he can't really use his abilities because Tsunade was going to sacrifice him as the person, because you have to use another person's body for this. You have to kill them and then use that body as for the Edo Tensei. And so she had poisoned him to where he can't use his abilities that well. So then we get the legendary Sannin fight, where they all summon their critters and they go at it. And Naruto in this fight proves himself, and Tsunade ends up having to save him. And I mean, the top of this fight is Tsunade you see just how stupid she is. I mean, she took a knife and ran it through Ochimaru's summoning of his giant snake and just took that sword and shoved it in between his eyeballs. And then she just beats the shit out of Ochimaru. And then at the end, she becomes back to the village and becomes the fifth Hokage. And she also starts healing, like working on helping Rock Lee and also helping Kakashi and all these other people. So that's the way the arc goes. I really love this arc. I know people don't like it as much because I think what this arc was more than anything is that this was an emotional arc, right? This is that emotional arc that we didn't quite get. We got emotional stuff in the other ones, but I loved what they did with Sonata here. To see her PTSD, to really talk about, the what trauma can do to somebody, right, and how you overcome that. And I thought that the relationship between her and Ochimaru and Jiraiya was fantastic. I thought the relationship between Jiraiya and Naruto was always comical, but you also see that bond forming. You also see the relationship between Tsunade and Naruto. Naruto brings Tsunade back because of his actions and his like sacrifice himself, and brings her back. He says things and does things that remind her of why she loved her little brother so much, because he would say the same things, and why she loved Dan. I think that was his name, Dan, so much.
Yeah.
Because again, would say thing, I'm going to become the next Hokage and I'm going to fix everything. And so she finally lets go of her pain and believes in Naruto, gives him the necklace, and agrees that she's going to be the next Hokage. I think this is a brilliant arc. I give it an 8. I give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was emotionally very satisfying. I loved the way they did Tsunade. I loved how they introduced some more characters, and the fight between Kabuto and Tsunade was incredible. When Tsunade's running around creating giant mountain-sized craters in the ground from a punch, you're just like, I don't think I want to get hit with that ever. She comes down, the first move is this kick that shatters like half this city block. You're like, uh-oh. She's a little pissed off.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I give this an 8 out of 10. Those are some of the highlights for me on this. Those are the main points, and I loved it. I thought the Sannin fight between the 3 legendary Sannin was fantastic. Just really good stuff. I'm with the lady pull out something. Your thoughts on the arc? Things you liked or didn't like? How'd you rate it? Thing first, and then we'll go to you, lady pull. I know you're already thinking.
Yeah, I am.
Go ahead, Thing.
I'm just like.
I like it. This is actually my favorite arc up until now. I actually give this a 9.
Wow, a 9. That's high mark.
Yeah. Because it introduced Itachi, who's my favorite character of all Naruto. It explained to us why Sasuke, he has his own form of PTSD, because as soon as he heard he's back, and he's looking for Naruto, he didn't think, I need to get my revenge. He was like, I need to go protect Naruto. Like, that was his whole trigger. He went out there and he was like, oh my god, he's about to kill Naruto. I need to find him. I need to make sure that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And you get introduced to like what happened that night. He puts him under the Tsukiyomi as well, makes him relive as a child. The slaughter.
I still love that line. Why are you so weak? Oh God, it's just so cruel, man.
Well, it was his way of saying, "Hey, get stronger." You need to get stronger.
Which was confusing. It was so confusing. Like, you see what Itachi did, and you're like, but what's the deal with his little brother? You can kill your mother and your father and wipe out her, but you're not killing Sasuke?
Well, you find that out later on.
I know, but at the time, I remember thinking,
at the time, you're just like,
what the hell, man? Because Sasuke was there to kill his ass. I mean, he summoned his Chidori. Yeah,
Sasuke's like,
ran that shit against the wall, and then Itachi's like, caught it without even thinking, breaks his wrist, and then knocks him across the entire building, and then it just right there puts him in Tsukiyomi. Oh my god, it was. Itachi's brutal, man. I mean, he is.
Dude, I love Itachi. Yeah, Itachi is one of my favorite freaking characters out of this entire anime. Yeah, like I love Itachi.
And you'll find out more when we get into Shippuden, because we really get his background stuff. But then go ahead.
Yeah, that's when you like really find out more about him and what really happened with the Uchihas and like everything. And it's like, yes! That's like one of the only really good things that I really, really liked about the Shippuden, but Sorry. But let's not go into that. So that's my alarm for my kids to go get a bath. But you know what? I'm not gonna do that right now. So.
All right, continuing this arc overall, you give it a 9. Anything else you want to add about what you loved about it?
Yeah, no, because I really like the because this is was when Jiraiya and Naruto's relationship really developed. Because you really see how even though Jiraiya was tough on him, you really did care for him more than just him being a student.
Yeah, like a
Like with the
grandfather.
popsicle scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then everything that you said about Tsunade. Like, I love Tsunade. Tsunade is top 5 favorite characters of mine.
I love her in this arc. I don't love her past this arc, but that's not because she's not a good character. It's just they didn't do anything with her.
Sure.
Unfortunately, she didn't get more development after this. But for this arc itself, I think what they did with her background and everything, it was fantastically done. I really like the writing on this. All right, Lady Pool, what are your thoughts on this arc?
It's basically the same as y'all's. Like, not even freaking kidding you. I wouldn't give it like a high rating of a 9 though.
That's all right. Give what you think it is.
I'd give it probably a solid 8.
Okay, you're with me. You're
like
with an 8.
Solid 8. Yeah, solid 8 because it is one of my favorite. I love Tsunade. Tsunade's great in this arc. Because, like you just said, they did not really do anything with her in like future arcs.
Well, we're going to learn as we cover more Naruto.
Not
and we
get into that.
As we get more into the rest of these arcs.
Yeah.
Women are horribly written in this goddamn whole show.
They really are.
They really
and it
are.
Sucks.
It's infuriating.
There's like so misrepresentation of women in this freaking thing. But anyway,
they have their moments.
Topic, but let's not go that route.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, that's why Sakura's so hated. I mean, she's just not. They don't do enough with her.
Especially in the beginning, Sakura was all like, cringe. Come on, show Sakura's strength, because she has a lot of strength.
Well, when we get to Shippuden, when they first introduced Sakura again, I had high hopes because of the way she had trained and the things that she could do. I was like, okay, when they do some shit with Sakura, that'd be kind of cool. But then we'll get into that later on. They never.
Yeah,
really...
that's a different story.
All right,
that's a whole different thing. But it does introduce my favorite character, Itachi. And
Itachi's fantastic, and you'll see why when we get later on in Shippuden. When we cover Shippuden, you'll learn why Itachi is such a goddamn beast, man.
Yeah,
That's
he's
a Chad,
just
man.
Oh yes, and then him and Kakashi are like my favorites.
Yeah, so Kakashi, Itachi. I really love Minato, the fourth Hokage. We get his background. I actually like Obito. I know a lot of people shit.
I like Obito too.
I like Obito.
But
we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Let's get to the next arc. So the next arc and the last arc we're going to cover today is the Sasuke recovery mission. And this is where Naruto and several of the ninja from the Konoha. Sasuke leaves. We'll discuss what happens. And it's all about the chase. This is my favorite arc. This is my favorite arc. One of my favorite. This one and the Pain arc and Shippuden are my 2 favorite arcs ever in Naruto. Yeah. I adore this arc. Many great fights. It took me a minute for my brain to kick in. So many cameos and things that happen in this arc. So what happens? They get back from rescuing Tsunade. She fixes Sasuke. She fixes Kakashi. She starts working on fixing Rock Lee, right? Because she's a medical ninja. And we get to see that. She becomes the 5th Hokage. She's like, the urge to fix people must do. But she's an awful Hokage. Because all she wants to do she just wants to drink. She doesn't like to do the paperwork. Her sidekick, I feel bad for her because she's always like arguing with her and stuff. You gotta go do this. Come on. She's like, I'm gonna go drink. So what sets this all off is that Orochimaru wants Sasuke. We don't know why, but we know that he wants him. We'll learn later on why that he does. He sends the Sound 4 to go retrieve him, kidnap him, take him, do whatever they have to do. But he sends them to go get him. And before this happens, though, Sasuke and Naruto's rivalry had been what it is. Sasuke wants power because we now understand that he wants to be able to defeat and kill his brother for what he did to his family, right? So he's looking at Naruto, who is developing all these abilities and skills, and at this point, I would say Naruto's kind of surpassed him. we see this actually happen in the hospital. Naruto goes to visit him. They have this big argument, leads into a fight. They lead up to the top of the roof. They start fighting it out. And at the last second, Sasuke is using Shidori. Naruto's using Rasengan. Someone's about to get killed. And at the last second, Kakashi pops in, grabs them both by the wrist, throws them toward these two water towers up there. And you see the water towers explode. And tells, Sakura and Naruto and everybody to split up. Sasuke slept on the roof alone just to think, because Kakashi has a little talk with him, but he's still, his mind's changing on things. He wants to become more powerful. And then he looks at the water towers, and he looks, as he's walking by, he looks at his, there's a little bit of water coming out of the back end. He made a nice solid hole through it. And then he looks at what Naruto did, and he looks at the back of that water thing, and that whole thing is gone. I mean, he exploded the whole backside of this water tower. And that just pisses off Sasuke more, and he feels like he's being held back, right? So he's giving in to more of his hatred and his darker emotions. Just at that point, the Sound 4 who had gone there to get him tell him that if he comes to Orochimaru, because he now has this curse mark, that Orochimaru will give him the power that he's looking for. However, there's a catch. He has to drink this brew, and he has to die. And they have to put him in this crate, and they have to take him to Orochimaru. If he wants to get more powerful, that's the deal.
Yep.
And lo and behold, he makes the deal, and off he goes. And the Sound 4,
he's a
yeah. And so off he goes to go with Orochimaru, because he feels Orochimaru is going to be able to help him achieve the power and the ability that he needs to do the things that he wants. Well, Naruto's not going to let that shit go. But the Leaf has got shit going all over. So she has to send Shikamaru, who's now a Chunin, his group of friends. So it's Nenji, Naruto, Shikamaru, Kiba, and Choji. Those are the 5 that are sent to go after them. So they start going. The ninja are on their way. So it's a chase. This becomes a classic chase. And that's why we call it the Sasuke chase and retrieval arc. So along the way, one of the sounds stays back to try to stop them. So the first one is I don't remember the name of the 4th sound, but Choji stops and he has his fight with the big fat guy with the Sound 4. And then the next one, it's Nenji versus the spider guy. And then the next one is, I believe it's Kiba versus the guy with the 2 heads, the 2 persons. So he has his fight. We'll get to all these fights in a second. Then one of the leader of the Sound 4, who's been really sick, shows up, and I can't remember the guy's name. The bone guy, you know what I'm talking about, their thing? Kimimaro. Yeah, he shows up, takes the crate, and then the girl stays back, and she fights Shikamaru. Naruto goes after them. So that sets up the fights. So Choji wins, almost dies. Nenji wins, almost dies, right? So those are the first 2 fights. They win, but they do some drastic...
Well, at the time, we think that they're dead.
We think that they're dead. I mean, I really thought Nenji was dead. That hit he took, holy Christ. What's really cool is, this is where we get the Sand Ninja coming back. So Kiba's fighting the two personality guy. He's got 2 body parts. Remember, these guys all have curse marks too. That's what makes them so powerful. Kiba's losing. He's getting his ass kicked. He's going to die. Well, who shows up but Mr. Puppet Master to save the day? Then the girl that's fighting Shikamaru is kicking his ass. Now, Shikamaru is outthinking her, and it's kind of a stalemate, but he just can't. He's tired. He's been fighting. They've been doing this chase for a long time. He can't hold out for much longer. Who shows up? Tamari, the girl with the fan. She shows up and saves the day. The funniest thing and one of the best fights is Naruto's fighting. What did you say the guy's name with the bones? Kimimaro. He has a genetic line where it allows him to use his bones as weapon. He can create bones at all times and shoot bones, and he's phenomenally powerful. Naruto gets angry, goes into QB chakra mode, summons 1,000 of himself, and tries to take this guy on and gets his ass kicked. Well, who comes to save the day first? Rock Lee, who's been healed. So you have the Kimmy Rock fight which is at first phenomenal because they're fighting, and then all of a sudden Rock's like, "Sorry, I have to take my medicine. If you just give me a moment to take my medicine, then we continue the fight." And so he takes the medicine. What he doesn't know is that they screwed up his medicine and gave him alcohol. Rock cannot have alcohol because he becomes just a monster. He becomes like a drunken master, and so he does that. So they have this fight between him
A drunken master fight.
it was unbelievable. It was so funny because he passes out after drinking it, and he goes to stab him, and turns, misses him, tries to stab him again, misses him, start fighting, and Rock Lee gives him what for a little bit, but eventually he turns over. But who comes to save the day just as Rock Lee's about to get slaughtered? Gara from the Sand shows up, and then those two combine to face him. Eventually they defeat him. It is a phenomenal fight. It is an unbelievable fight and such a great turnaround to see the Sand Ninja who worked to destroy the Leaf coming back to save the day, to save these guys in their fights. And that allows Naruto to then go chase Sasuke. The final fight in this arc, and one of the best fights in anime ever, is the confrontation between Sasuke and Naruto. I could probably spend another hour talking about this fight, but I'm going to let Thane, I know you love this fight just as much as I do, and is ingratiated into your mind. Talk about this fight, why it's so good, why you love it so much, what makes it one of the most badass fights in anime ever.
Because it's not just a fight about who's more powerful. It's an ideological fight between the two. It's about what path to go on.
Yeah.
Like you have Naruto trying to save his, best friend and basically his brother at this point that is bond that he's created, and then you have Sasuke who's like, I can't go down this path anymore. I have to go down the path of isolation and just worry about myself. Kind of how like we saw Gaara was at the beginning of the tuning exams. What he would always say that made him so powerful is that he only cared about himself. And Sasuke's kind of trying to go into that realm. And you see them both, try harder in this fight than they've ever tried at anything in the past. It's like they both just try to, Sasuke until the very end is committed to kill him. And even, during the fight where he thinks he did kill him, like you see him how he gets like sick to his stomach and he's literally puking his guts out because he's sickened by what he thinks he just did.
That and he was exhausted too. I mean, at the end of that fight, I mean, they're both have nothing left. Sasuke
no, I was talking about when he does the drop from the cliff. He drops him on his head. Yeah, he literally bends over and starts puking because he's sickened by what he did.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many just great moments in this fight, and you see them developing their abilities even more during this fight.
Mm-hmm.
You see the development of Sasuke's Sharingan more. You see Naruto using everything. I don't know why. I think the reason Sasuke wins is because he's determined to. He was trying to kill Naruto. I mean, let's just be real. Naruto was not. I think Naruto was holding back in this fight because he was trying to save Sasuke. Because if Naruto had been, and Naruto's not, he's just more of the, he's kind of like Jiraiya in the sense that he fights by just experiencing in the moment. If he'd summoned Gamma Bunta or some shit like that, I mean, this fight would have been over, right? But he didn't. But because he wasn't trying to kill Sasuke. Yes.
Sorry for the interruption. The kids and everybody came in. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Hi, kids and everybody. Oh, they're gone? Okay.
Yeah, they're gone. I kicked them out.
It's such a well choreographed fight. You see, Sasuke Sharingan develop. You see Naruto get so angry and the Nine Tails, leaking more chakra to where you see two tails form on him, and you see form the actual beginning of the cloak, of the Chibi cloak. And, I mean, they just beat the piss out of each other. it was brutal. I mean, the emotion was in the fight too, but you felt those hits. I mean, there's one where Sasuke is looking up at Naruto, and Naruto just pops up and punches him in the face and hits him in the nose, and Sasuke's just on the ground like, oh my God. It was unbelievable. This fight, if you've never seen it, you should watch it. It is ungodly good. It's one of my favorite fights. Every time I go back and watch it, it is just so phenomenal. And the setting is in the valley
The Valley of the End.
of the End, where many ages ago we see our first introduction to two characters that we'll learn more about later on.
Naruto ended up.
First Hokage and Madara. So they're fighting, and it's so great because before they start fighting, Sasuke's standing on the statue of Madara. Hint, hint for things to come. And Naruto's sitting on the statue of the first Hokage. Hint, hint, things to come further on. But yeah, so that's our thought. What, Lady Pool, all these different fights. I mean, all the different stuff we talked about. The Sasuke retrieval fight. What are the things you love the most? I mean,
This one has to be one of my favorite ones, because it shows Kurama coming out and being all like, "You're." By the way, because I don't think they mentioned it, but Kurama is the name of the nine-tailed beast inside Naruto.
The chibi. Yeah.
But during the battle with Sasuke, Kurama gave Naruto like one full ninth of his own chakra to like try and like heal him and get him to like stage one of the Jinchuriki, and he still lost to Sasuke when Sasuke used the curse mark, but Naruto was able. I liked it because Naruto was able to get to 3 full tails.
Well, yeah, but Kurama's
like,
got an ulterior motive. We learn more about the nine-tailed beast. He does not want to be trapped. He's trapped inside Naruto. He's trying to escape.
Yeah,
and he's
but
playing
they
the
end
long
up becoming
con.
like friends because.
But before then, the reason he was giving him all this leaked chakra is because the more he did it, the more the barrier and the seal broke down. So
yeah,
he had an ulterior motive. I mean, it wasn't like he liked Naruto or anything, but he's like, that situation allows me to use this opportunity to weaken
Naruto was able to get to that,
and he doesn't want Naruto to die either, because then he dies too. So,
but Naruto was able to get to the 3 tails before Kurama took over his mind and then converted him into the 4 tails.
Well, that's much further on. You're jumping ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. But I just like it because it like starts showing all of that, and it starts showing like it's
progression for both of them,
mind and stuff, and it's like shows all the progression and everything. And I love the character development in this arc.
It was emotional. You really thought people died. I mean, this is the first. I mean, we saw after the third Hokage, there was a bunch of people that died. And seeing the third Hokage die was a big deal. And I was really convinced that they were going to kill off some more characters. I was like, man, this anime does not give a shit. It will kill off whoever they think needs to be killed off. And sorry if you like the character, but we'll do it. It didn't happen that way.
It didn't, thank God. But
yeah,
it seemed like it.
Because I really thought after that, the Chunin exam arc, after the third Hokage had died and stuff, I was like, oh shit. Because a lot of characters died.
It's getting real.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. So, let's give our ranks to this arc, and then give our overall rank to Naruto.
Go ahead,
Lady Pool.
Okay, I would give this arc. God, I almost want to give it a solid 9, but I'm gonna go with an 8.5.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Thing. What about you?
I give this one a 9.5.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. This is one of my favorite arcs in Naruto. It's a 9.5.
But you know what? I'm going to give it a solid 9.
Give it a 9. There you go.
9. Yeah.
All right.
I'm giving it a solid 9. Like, I love it. Like, I love Itachi coming in on the previous arc.
Yep.
But this one just takes the
This
cake
one was unbelievable.
I love the battle between Naruto and Sasuke. And I love it.
Yep. The kids love it too. They're screaming Naruto.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, well.
Okay. Holy cow. That's my youngest. She's mad. I don't know why she's mad.
Well, it's the chibi chakras leaking out of her. All right. So now after this arc, there's about 50 more episodes. It's all filler. Garbage. Yeah. I hated it. It made me stop watching Naruto. I stopped reading the manga. I'm like, until they go back into the main story and these characters, which they do when we get to Naruto's Shippuden. I was kind of done with that, and I started getting way more into One Piece and some other animes. And there's more animes coming out.
I started getting into One Piece, but then I got like distracted or something and just stopped.
Oh my god, One Piece, one of the greatest.
I know, I got to get back into One Piece, like I really do.
How far along in One Piece have you gotten?
Like 5 seasons, maybe. Yeah, like I'm like
We may have
I'm
to do
still
a.
baby One Piece, so
Yeah, you need to. I'd say read the manga, not look at the anime, because the anime has a lot more filler in it than the manga does. The manga just
yeah,
gets the main
that I've
crux.
noticed, and I like reading the
The
manga
way I
more.
do One Piece now is I read the manga and then I go back when the episode shows, like for certain fights and scenes, and I'll go back and watch see how they animated it. But I don't watch the anime anymore. All right, our overall thoughts of Naruto, just Naruto, not shipping or anything else. Let's give our overall score and then a grade score, like we always do. For me, Naruto, it's got some nostalgia to it. It was one of the first animes that long running shonen that I really got into, um, along with I would say Hunter x Hunter and One Piece and some other ones got me really, really. I mean, I was already hooked on anime, but these are these long running shonen that I really got involved with. I'm going to give this a. If I'm going to give it a rate, the highest rank we would give something is an S, A, B, C, D, and then Boruto. I'm going to give just Naruto an A. I think it's an A anime. I think it's really, really good. I give it between an 8.5 and 9. Probably in the 8 to 9 range. I don't know what I would give it a number score, but for me, as a letter ranking, I'd give this an A. Lady Pool, what would you give Naruto?
This is gonna be a first coming for me. I'm actually going to be giving this anime. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go with an A.
Okay, A for.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go with an A.
Yeah.
Only because I'm hardcore into mythology and everything, and I loved the um nine-tailed fox aspect of it.
Mm.
I love the nine-tailed fox mythology and everything else. Like I really do. I love it, and that is what got me into Naruto, and it got me like, hey, I'm gonna stick with you.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, when I was watching this, I was also watching Bleach, and for some reason,
God.
I really liked Bleach.
Yeah,
But
Bleach after the one arc, and
yeah,
it got
so
dumb. I hated Bleach.
yeah. After one Bleach went on, anyway, let's not go into that. But with this one, I'm as an overall numerical score. Overall numerical, I'm gonna give it 8.5.
8.5. Okay.
Which is my highest rating that I've done so far, I think.
I don't know. You gave Konosuba pretty good, and I think One Punch, or no, Double as a part timer, you gave a pretty high score.
Yeah, but I haven't gone above an 8.5. So maybe this one's more like an 8.75, almost 9 kind of thing. But like, if we're gonna get technical, but like it in general, it's up there. Like
I'm between an 8.5. It's an A-rated anime for me.
Yeah, it's definitely an A-rated anime. It's very family friendly because I can watch it with my kids, and I don't have to worry about. Well, I have to worry a little bit about it when the
High School of the Dam or something like that.
But anyway, but it's a good family anime that you can watch with your kids. You know, you're still gonna have to watch parental guidance because violence, blood, that kind of stuff. But other than that, it's good to watch with your kids. It's good to watch, any time of the year, anytime, anywhere, any place. You don't have to worry about, oh shit, is somebody gonna see this while I'm at work, kind of thing. It's good.
Okay.
So.
All right, Thane.
I give it an A. I give it a 9. Solid 9.
Get a solid 9. All right, there you go. All right, so eventually we will do Naruto Shippuden. That's going to be another long episode for us because there's a lot of arcs in that one.
There's so much in that one.
There's so many arcs.
That's the one that I have to actually sit down and categorize my notes.
Yeah, we'll probably do that here in a couple months. We'll do Naruto Shippuden because that's a monster. I mean, there was 100.
Yeah.
We're like at 130 episodes of Naruto, right? And then I think there's another 50 that were filler.
Yeah, we're at 100 and
I think it was 180 or something like that total for Naruto until they went to Shippuden. Shippuden has like over 600, 700 something. It's just stupid.
I don't know. I'm looking at an arc list for Shippuden right now, and I'm at 459, and I'm still scrolling. So yeah, it stops somewhere in the 500s. So
Yeah, it's
we got a lot.
it was something stupid. I can't remember the exact number, but it was a dumb number,
Yeah.
and it mainly we'll get into the war arc itself is some really good stuff in the war arc, but there's a lot
I
of bullshit in
forgot
the war arc.
about that part of the
But
Shippuden
one of my
series.
favorite arcs is in Naruto Shippuden, hands down one of my favorite arcs in anime. Period.
Which arc?
The pain arc.
Yeah.
The pain arc is
Yeah.
phenomenal. We'll cover that eventually. So, we'll upload this to YouTube. We need to get the YouTube channel. Just look up Anime Bingeaholics. So there's not many people following us there.
Don't worry, I will have it in
The description.
Twitch in a minute.
Okay. So we'll get that squared away for you guys and get this uploaded. And if you do see this on YouTube, once I get it uploaded, then feel free to leave comments of what you think about Naruto. There's no wrong opinion. Just keep it civil. Keep it. There's no name calling. If you disagree with someone, that's fine. But there's no buffoonery allowed, because if I see something like that, or if Lady Pole sees something like that, we're just going to delete your message. We like good constructive conflict and talk. Some people don't hate Naruto. I get it. It's fine. Some people
We get it.
Some
Trust me.
people love it more than us, right?
Yeah.
And I get that too. So
We get
everybody, we it is what it is. But let's keep it civil.
I am all for, open debates. I have a debate spot in the Discord because I'm all for comparison and contrasting and all kinds of doing stuff with anime. I love it. I love to do that with the different plots and twists and everything. So feel free
Sure.
to do it in there. But for the comments on the videos, let's try and keep that, civil.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Yep. All right. With that, we're gonna end the stream. So enjoy the rest of your night. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow on the RSG channel with the RSG lunch stream. And then tomorrow night, I will be doing the Heinze stream for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes late in the night with that filthy Australian Heinze.
Will we be having a stream next week?
Next week would be the 22nd. Why
Yep.
not? Yes, we will.
Okay. We will be having a Christmas episode next week.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do.
I don't know either yet.
Well, we have a list of the anime, so let's just do that. We'll have to re-record
we'll
all
just
the
look
other
at the
ones.
list.
Yeah, what's the next one on the list after Naruto?
I'm scrolling because I don't remember. I know it's not Bunny Girl Senpai. Or is it?
Could be. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I wrote it out. It's in.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking for the
Give us a second here.
list. Apparently the kids are... Sword Art. Sword Art Online.
That's you.
Yep, that's me.
That's you, because I am not.
That's me.
I like the first arc of Sword Art Online, but I think the rest of it's garbage. So.
Yeah, the first arc is my favorite.
I like the first arc. Have you seen Sword Art Online thing?
I have not, but I know of it.
Yeah, the first arc's pretty decent, but after that, I mean...
After that, it gets a little like...
It's wonky. It's going to be one of those animes. I know it's a popular anime, but I don't get it. I mean, I just don't see the appeal. I mean, the first 13 episodes were solid for me, and I really liked it, and I liked the potential. Never reached that potential. It went on different tangents and stuff, and
Yeah. It went off.
we'll talk about them. I'll let Pool tell about the arcs, and I mean, I think the last season that was out, I remember watching them just to see if maybe
I haven't seen the last season yet, so I should probably do that.
I stopped watching it. I thought, this is so bad. I can't watch this. I've done that to some animes where I'm just like, no. I just don't.
Right? So I'm just like, I don't know. See, I'm okay if we skip that one and go straight to Blue Exorcist.
Let's do Blue Exorcist.
I love Blue Exorcist.
Let's do both. Let's do one we hate and one we like. So we can. Just
okay, that works for me. Because Blue Exorcist, I can talk all day about.
Yeah, I like Blue Exorcist. It's a solid B, A- anime for me.
Yeah.
Sword Art
Even
Online,
my kids like Blue Exorcist, and I don't know if that's
Sword Art
good
Online
or not
for
yet,
me
but...
it's lucky if it gets a B-. I usually keep it in the C category. I changed my opinion on it, as we all do, but we'll cover it. We'll tell you what we think about it.
We'll cover it.
Oh, Sword Art Online. Ugh, God. The biggest Mary Sue ever in anime. I swear to Christ, man. I prefer Log Horizon to Sword Art Online. I'm not joking. I love Log Horizon way more than I do Sword Art Online.
Oh, God.
Some of the dumb shit that goes on in that anime. All right, so with that, we're going to call this one done. So if you guys like this, follow along, spread the word about what we're talking about over here on Anime Bingeaholics. So on behalf of myself, Lady Pool, and a big shout out to Thane, who'll be with me tomorrow on the lunch stream as we do our GAC. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a great rest of your day, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, and if not, we'll see you next
Happy
Tuesday.
holidays if we miss you next week.
Yep, have a good Christmas and all that other good stuff. So we will
Yep,
see
be
you next
safe,
week.
wear your masks, get tested. We're good.
Do that. All right, everyone, have a great rest of the night. We'll talk to you later.